seeking life.
Hello all my marvelous people, I'm back with yet another exciting video. New movie alert, Mexican filmmaker Guillermo del Toro is back with another directorial, the upcoming Victorian-era sci-fi, Frankenstein, which will launch soon globally on streaming platform Netflix this winter. Written and directed by Guillermo del Toro, Frankenstein is a film adaptation based on the famous classic novel of the same name. I'll explore all the latest updates surrounding Guillermo del Toro's version of Frankenstein, so without further ado, let's dive into what we already know so far about the upcoming film adaptation and an exciting first look at the ongoing production. Before going into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Number 1. What's the story of Frankenstein 2025? So, what's Frankenstein? A story that has spurred many film adaptations across decades, really about. If you're unfamiliar with the classic age-old tale of Frankenstein, worry not. I've got you covered. Its main premise centers around a young genius named Victor Frankenstein who brings a sapient creature to life in an unusual science experiment that eventually leads to not only his personal downfall, but also the undoing of his monstrous, grotesque invention. Oscar-winning director Guillermo del Toro is particularly known for one thing: monsters. They could be either enigmatic, bizarre, disturbing, or compassionate, and these monsters take on various roles across del Toro's filmography. For instance, look at Pan's Labyrinth's wicked pale man, and Wise Fawn in the Shape of Water's ill-treated amphibian man. Monstrosity within humanity is a theme Guillermo del Toro loves exploring. For del Toro, Frankenstein is, quote-unquote, the culmination of a journey that has occupied most of his life. Monsters have been his personal belief system. He revealed that at Netflix's annual pop culture event, Ta-Dum, held on May 31st this year, Frankenstein, one of the most renowned monster stories in the world, draws parallels to Toro's career in the film industry in terms of narrative. The way I see it, it's a perfect amalgamation of the various themes he's dealt with in his films. Actor Oscar Isaac, who's starring as Victor Frankenstein, said, quote, "This is the story of a brilliant creator driven to the edge of madness, in his years-long pursuit bringing his creation to life. And I'm not talking about you," to Guillermo del Toro. Frankenstein is a project that del Toro has passionately chased for decades, and I'll get into that in more detail later. Just like how Victor Frankenstein devoted his entire life to building his monster, I could say that del Toro capitalized on something similar in this film. But this time, unlike the story's tragic ending, the much-anticipated movie will have a more positive influence on the world. Now let's get into the first looks for Frankenstein, which were released by Netflix during Ta-Dum. In one picture, we've got 18th century-styled Oscar Isaac showing a vial sort of thing to a crowd that seemingly looks like they're some kind of committee or board. Moving to the second picture, I see Oscar standing next to a fireplace. Face illuminated by the fire, he's got a scowl and seems to be holding a piece of paper. A letter, maybe? There's not much lighting in the space he's situated in, but I can notice a couple of props. A camera obscura, a bed with an intricately fashioned frame, and a canopy draped over it. It's a very cluttered space, revealing a few things about his personality and mood changes in the film. I think it symbolizes Victor Frankenstein's priorities. He appears to value his scientific experiments more than he organizes his personal space. I definitely sense the horror elements in this shot, a genre that Guillermo del Toro is well versed in. In the third picture, it's a laboratory setup, and Victor Frankenstein has his back turned. He's staring out a large window, reminding me of Elphaba smashing out a similar sort of window in the Hollywood musical Wicked. Looks like we may get to see more fantastical influences in Frankenstein. The scientist also seems to be standing on what seems like a huge metallic drain. Behind him, there's a body covered in bandages and various body parts seemingly situated in the area in front of him. But the most impressive aspect of this visual is the assumed first look at Frankenstein's monster, in the process of being entirely created. Number 2. Is it based on Mary Shelley's book? Is the film adaptation indeed based on the book by English writer Mary Shelley? The answer is yes. Frankenstein, a classic novel in Gothic literature, was published in 1818. Shelley had finished the book at the very young age of 19, and Guillermo del Toro considers it a huge inspiration in his life. When del Toro won the BAFTA Award for Best Director for The Shape of Water, he even spared a few words of gratitude for Mary Shelley in his acceptance speech. He said, quote, "The most important figure from English legacy is, incredibly, for me, a teenager by the name of Mary Shelley, and she has remained a figure as important in my life as if she were family. And so many times when I want to give up, when I think about giving up, when people tell me that dreaming of the movies and stories I dream are impossible, I think of her." Number 3. Outstanding cast. Fortunately, one of Frankenstein's most intriguing aspects is definitely the star cast, comprising of some of the best A-listers in the industry. Oscar Isaac of Star Wars and Ex Machina fame is set to star as the troubled scientist Victor Frankenstein. Jacob Elordi, who gained prominence with the roles in Saltburn and Euphoria, will portray Frankenstein's monster. Moreover, the cast includes Mia Goth from T. West's X franchise, Christopher Waltz from Tarantino's Inglourious Bastards, Felix Kammerer from All Quiet on the Western Front, Lars Mikkelsen from The Witcher, David Bradley from the Harry Potter franchise, Charles Dance from Game of Thrones, and Ralph Ineson from The Green Knight. It's worth noting that some of the cast members expressed their appreciation for Guillermo del Toro and the excitement of working on his film. On Late Night with Jimmy Fallon the previous year, Jacob Elordi said, "He's the kindest man, and he's so sincere, he's brilliant." While speaking to another magazine, Mia Goth spoke about stepping behind the camera and watching del Toro at work. She said, "It's been interesting to experience what a film set is like when you're on the other side of the camera. It's highlighted for me how vastly different the two experiences are." Frankenstein is the first Guillermo del Toro film in which Oscar Isaac, Jacob Elordi, and Mia Goth starred. Additionally, it's Christopher Waltz's second collaboration with del Toro, the first one being in Pinocchio, where he played Count Volpe. Number 4. Filming and development status. At Netflix's Tadum 2025, Guillermo del Toro was heard saying, quote-unquote, "This film has been on my mind since I was a child, for 50 years. I've been trying to make it for 20 or 25 years. In fact, some people may even think I'm a little bit obsessed with Frankenstein, and they'd probably be right. You see, over the decades, the character has fused with my soul in a way that it has become an autobiography. It doesn't get more personal than this. Now, 25 years is a very long time indeed. Frankenstein is a story that has inspired parts of his other movies to a certain degree as well. Going back to the year 2007, del Toro declared publicly that he keenly wanted to create his own interpretation of the classic story. According to sources, Variety, and MTV, he had a multi-picture agreement with Universal Pictures as of 2009, one of which was proposed to be his adaptation of Frankenstein, where he planned to cast Doug Jones as Frankenstein's monster. According to Collider, the project got shelved after a few years in 2014, likely due to Universal Pictures embarking on a different path with the proposed expansion of the Dark Universe, a cinematic lineup of Universal's monster movies. As a result, Guillermo del Toro was also doubtful about going ahead due to Frankenstein being his ultimate dream project, to which he wanted to do justice. For nearly another decade, del Toro had no confirmed plans to adapt Frankenstein, but he always expressed a desire and initiative to do so. During Comic-Con International in 2020, he said he'd love to make a Frankenstein film series comprising of 2 to 3 movies, which aims to be a faithful adaptation of all the events in the book. But it was only during the 2020s that Frankenstein got the green light when del Toro signed another multi-year contract with Netflix. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, released in 2022, was made for Netflix, which eventually ended up winning the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature. Now, with all the creative liberty and capital del Toro needed to make the most awaited film of his career, Frankenstein finally found a home with the streaming service. Principal photography of the movie kicked off officially in Toronto, Canada on February 12, 2024, and finally wrapped up on September 30 of the same year. In September 2024, additional filming took place in Edinburgh, Scotland. Guillermo del Toro stated that Frankenstein would be a highly emotional story, rather than just another horror or dark fantasy movie. Alexander Desplat, music composer of the film, said, "Guillermo's cinema is very lyrical, and my music is rather lyrical too. So I think the music of Frankenstein will be something very lyrical and emotional. I'm not trying to write horrific music." Number 5. Release date. Announced at the Tadum event this year, Frankenstein has been confirmed to release on Netflix this November, as they showcased the official video teaser to the public, but unfortunately, the exact date isn't out yet. Marvelous verdict. To finally conclude what I know about Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, I could spot the mysterious parallels between the director and this movie, and I think it makes the gothic masterpiece even more special. Having created some of the most iconic monsters in cinema that compel us to face the depths of monstrosity in human nature, del Toro now gets to create this ultimate monster, which has been on the back of his mind for many years. Guillermo del Toro has been effectively pushing the barriers of fantasy movies with his unparalleled vision and devotion, and I can see Frankenstein emerging as the one movie that has more of it than all the others. If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.